and non-human intelligence. And in the Orthodox worldview, we have the idea that there are other intelligence. There's angels, there's demonic, there's divine intelligence. Um, do you? And I'm kind of agnostic, not because I think that anything is inherently evil or necessarily. I think they're tools, but I see the potentiality of it going either way in terms of a disaster for humanity or something that may just be a fad or something that's overhyped and not a big deal. What's your thought on it?
Yeah, well, the way that I tend to see it is I try to not reduce the AI to the actual system, right? To think about AI as just the computer system. I try to see the AI as, of course, there's the whole computer system, but there's also all of the structures around it, the structures of meaning that are kind of being invoked around it. And so, for example, uh, people say, well, is AI conscious? Can it be conscious? All these questions. And my answer is usually I don't really know that. And I don't really care. What really matters is how we treat it. That is, I mean, you could ask the question, like, did the idols in the temples of the ancient people, like, were they actual vehicles for gods, or maybe they were just fake, or maybe it was a bit of both. Like sometimes they were fake, sometimes they would really kind of be invoking these true
So
demonic
I have you
presences.
on record saying that sometimes they're faking gay.
Yes, right. Well, that's for sure. Especially
You
those
heard it right
idols.
there.
Yeah, you heard it right there. And you see that in the Old Testament too. Like sometimes it seems like the idols are just like these pieces of wood that have nothing, and sometimes
Yeah,
it seems like they are these kind of portals for other
right.
intelligences. And I think that it's mostly the way we treat them that will manifest. So it's like if there are demons that are acting through AI, they're not just acting through the computer, they're acting through the entire system around it that is making us revere it and ultimately serve it. And I think that that's where you see is that the tendency we have to serve this thing, and to immediately defer to it, right? You meet people all the time. They're like, well, Grok says this, as if it's God speaking, like as if God is speaking from heaven. And then because Grok has said it, I think that this is an image of a kind of desire to move toward a type of idolatry. And it helps us understand idolatry, actually, because it's hard for modern people to understand idolatry in the kind of pagan sense, because we don't have statues that we open the nostrils of and blow spirit into. Like we don't have this idea that there could be a thing that we make that we serve, when it talks about that in scripture. But now we're literally seeing it happen. Like we're making something and then we have a tendency to want to serve it. And I think that it's in that context that it's a problem. And also, like, if you look at the bigger picture of what it's serving, then you realize that it's ultimately serving mammon. And so because it's serving mammon, it's already a problem. It means that all of the attention structures that it's invoking in us, the fact that, for example, both Grok and ultimately now OpenAI, they're having kind of porn bots, right? They're having sex bots that are sex chats and that's because they need attention in order to make money. And so they're using the same type of structures of attention that the internet has always used. And therefore, there's a sense in which, in that sense, I see that it is becoming a vehicle for a demonic influence.
I've seen a huge drop in my OnlyFans uh, since the bots have come out because I can't compete. I can't compete with Robo J, who's 10 times
I
hotter
know.
than the real J. So,
That's right. That's for
uh,
sure.
no, Jonathan is spot on there. I agree with the temptation of idolatry. I mean, one thing we've noticed in the realm of, say, debate and apologetics is that people will, especially the younger you go, they rely on it more than older generations. So they will sort of defer to it, like you said, like it's the arbiter of every discussion or debate, even though we all know that Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT,
Hallucinate
like they're wrong all the time. They get things wrong.
all the
So
time.
why would we defer to this like not just fallible pseudo deity, but like constantly wrong sort of deity? It's kind of absurd. But and then I noticed too in debates, a lot of times people you catch them using ChatGPT in the middle of a debate. So it's like that's cheating, but everyone's now relying on this. And I think you're absolutely right that the key temptation will be idolatry there. So um
Yeah.